This is not the internet. This is the Metaverse. Hello, pioneers. Well, I thought with all the noise surrounding all the recent AI generators surfacing on the net, perhaps we take a look at it and see what's really going on. And should you be worried about AI replacing your jobs? You're darn right you should be. But hopefully by the end of this video, I'll show you why AI is your friend and why having your jobs replaced is a good thing. So we've seen ChatGPT come out, and everyone's using it, and it's very impressive, but it's still got a long way to go. OpenAI has also got a thing called DALL-E 2 for all the art people. This goes along with Midjourney, and I've been using Artbreeder myself for a number of years, to serve as a point of inspiration to practice art. But this all goes back before 2010, and with high-frequency trading, this is where a lot of it starts. And to go along with this, back in those days, we saw a lot of the robo-journalists surface as well, and they were creating stories and news articles a long time before. Now, the problem we have here is that when you combine that with high-frequency trading, the robots are reporting on the trading algorithms and what's happening in the day for trades, and then the high frequency trading's using those articles to do trades themselves, and this becomes a big circle of AI reporting to itself. And when these things happen, you can get things like flash crashes. So you can see that if we don't keep control on these sorts of things, we just have robots talking to each other but having real world effects on what our lives are. So we've seen a lot of use cases for AI, from earning money on YouTube, website design, medical advice, Excel spreadsheets, learning languages, doing game dev, Python, it's coding itself with that, playing chess, doing social media content, algo trading, search engines, and obviously art, so already there's a lot of jobs here that, AI seems to be replacing. Now, if we take a look at automated vehicles and what AI does with that, like with self-driving cars, we don't need taxi drivers anymore. Self-driving trucks, there's no more delivery guys. Self-driving buses, no more bus drivers. And, we've even had the self-driving trains for a long time. Even the obscure jobs, like a cameraman, reporting on news. You don't need the pilot anymore, you don't need the helicopter, and you don't need the cameraman. Drones replace all that. Now, when you put all this into a smart city, right, now with all these automated vehicles and that, they've already got their sensors and everything. However, when everything's tracked, people, cars, trucks, trains, when every movement's tracked and working together, right, then they're all aware of each other, right? And now we eliminate things like accidents, people being on time, people being late, people not arriving, all these things go out the window, right? So you can see there's a lot of good things to come in smart cities. Now, there's been a lot of uproar in the art community, and rightly so, especially when it comes to, these programs using people's art that, they haven't got permission to, and them profiting from that, so that's not good. But there's one thing that isn't being discussed, and that's that, all these artists, they're all professionals, right? So they're creating art for other people, right? And they're not creating their own art, so they have art directors who are telling them what to do and picking their compositions, right? making adjustments and everything. So, they're not actually doing their own art. Now, AI, in a way, would solve this, right? Because now they could just work on their own stuff. Now, what we're talking about here, though, is replacing their jobs. So what do they do about that, right? Well, this is where the universal basic income comes in, right? Because now if you're getting paid a monthly salary, right, just for doing whatever you want, right, now you can produce your own art, right? So we see here, with the universal basic income, you're getting a basic wage, right? But the big thing is you're getting all this free time to pursue your own endeavours, right? So this is a good thing, right? And this is where people are not distinguishing between what's professional and personal, and I know a lot of people wouldn't want to be working. Of course, if you want to work, there's that capability as well, right? So we're not saying it's going to wipe out all the jobs, but it's going to be changing the job landscape. Now, this has happened time and time again over history, with every human evolution, right? We've seen that in the past, like electricity that replaced, all the street candlelight workers, right? With the automobile that replaced all the horse-drawn carriages, right? And even as recently as, 15 years ago, all the iPhones replaced all film photography, You don't see any Kodak or Fujifilm anymore. Now, I don't want to be too simplistic on this, but, with the coming age and, of all these robots and, we get a lot of these more guys coming along, there's going to be a lot of those mundane jobs that they can do quite easily, and they can do it faster and they can do it better, And unfortunately, a lot of those skilled jobs that we do, they can do faster and better as well. That's just a way it's going to be. But hopefully this frees up all our time and now we can spend it doing what we want. The only question is, what are you going to do with all your time? So I'll leave you with these. These are a couple of quotes out of movies that I found quite interesting. I'm not going to read them to you, but take a look. And, you can see how, in certain aspects, what they say here, they're not wrong. In fact, that these guys can do a better job, Now, it's not that simplistic, but, who can argue against arguments like these? This is another one I thought was great, and, you can't really go against these things. So, I guess I'll just say that, with these guys, they never betray and more human than human. So that's about it. Look, with all this AI and robotics and all that coming, this is where pinetwork comes into play. Like I said, becoming a UBI, it's the perfect mechanism. And although it's really hard to see that right now, by the time 2030 comes, this is where our Pi, is going to be so valuable, and obviously it's going to be valuable before then. But, by the time 2030 rolls around, this is where we become the number one crypto in the world, right? So I'm just trying to emphasize that, this is the coming world we're having, and, keep mining your Pi, don't give up on the network. And we got March 14 coming up, so there's going to be huge announcements then. So that's something to really look forward to. So that's all for the video, and I hope you enjoyed it.